My name is Boet van Skalkwijk. I'm based in South Africa, where we have ports, seafarer centres in all of the ports throughout southern Africa. And our region extends from Somalia in the north, right down the east coast, through to Angola on the west coast. But we only, as the Sailor Society, have chaplains in ports in South Africa, the 5 ports of South Africa. At the moment, our focus is primarily on, obviously, the basic work that we do as chaplains on board ships, in our centres and in our hospitals. We also extend that to the cruise vessels, and we take care of the crews on the cruise vessels. And in addition to that, we also have developed of recent, over the last 5-6 years now, a specific ministry specialised in work with the seafarers that have been captured by pirates on the Somali coast. And we upgraded our training because we found that our standard type training, the training we get on our SMT courses and at universities and colleges, really wasn't sufficient to cope with the trauma aspect of what our seafarers are going through. So Marion Gibson came through from the UK, gave us all a course, 64 chaplains, gave us all a good training course, which set up a network around the East Coast, by which we can at least help these chaps on their way towards recovery. It's nowhere near, it really is first line work, but at least we can upgrade it as the chaps go down the coast, or if they go home. What we do then is we contact their families, so that their families are aware of what the situation of their husbands are by the time they get home, and also the priests or the chaplains in their particular areas, so that they too can pick up on where we left off, and hopefully keep them at home for the next 3 months, which isn't sufficient anyway, but we also know that by the time they get home, it's not long after that and they're back at sea again, unfortunately, and that's long before that's sufficient time to recover. But then we pick them up on the way around again. The authorities, the maritime authorities, would bring the captured or the released seafarers down to us, whether it be from Dar es Salaam or further up the coast, Tanzania, Mozambique and so on. And we would work with them in Durban. Either that, or we also spoke to the Navy, because the Navy patrol the Mozambique Channel, where there's a number of incidents that have taken place. And along with the Navy, we've got an agreement with them that if they do come across a whole crew of, say, 23 seafarers, that their chaplain isn't going to cope with that, we will get taken up there, and we then begin to work with the chaps on board ship. From specific memories, so many. We made many mistakes in the beginning, and we still do. But one of the things was the provision of a toiletry bag with just the basic necessities in. We would give them these toiletry bags, and this, for a start, would give them a warmth towards us in the form of trust, and in the form of starting to speak with us, because they don't speak much clearly when they come in. But they, in many cases, hadn't bathed for many months before that, and their beards were way out there. And in our innocence, we gave them the normal disposable type razor, which for a beard that size is actually of no effect at all. And they very kindly said to us, is it possible to get a pair of scissors? So now we put scissors in there too, so that they can at least trim themselves and get themselves shaved and bathed. They seem to feel quite sort of dirty and contaminated by that time, obviously, and so they can then quickly get a good shower before they go home. But the other thing was, funnily enough, one of our lady chaplains thought of the idea of bringing muffins in for them, and this totally changed the whole setting of counselling, because we discovered they hadn't eaten for the last 18-20 hours. And of course, a home-baked muffin sounds great with a cup of coffee or a cold drink. And that really got them going. And we could then start praying with them, and then start getting down to the counselling and working with them, yes.